Okay, my number one thing that I wish I could go back and tell myself is that the belief that I'm not disciplined enough is going to keep me stuck longer than any other belief that I have. So this, like, I don't know if any, like, I am sure that somebody here can relate to this, right? Because we have this belief that if we just try harder, we work harder, we become more efficient, we come up with better systems, we, have more willpower, whether we're talking about weight loss, if we're talking about changing our life, our relationships, how we're experiencing things, how we are, if we get knocked down, if we were just more disciplined, we could have done it better. And so everything is like, very escalated and heightened in our minds because we have this belief that we just need to do better all the time. But the truth is, if I could go back and tell myself this, it would be that it's not that you're not disciplined enough, it's just that you're not putting the right actions into place to help you. Success should be inevitable, right? So because of the systems that you have in place, the structure of your life, the things that you are falling back on when you're feeling stuck or on your autopilot, those are the things that need to be changed in order for you to succeed. So it's not your discipline. Discipline needs to come in the form of following through on the structures and boundaries and systems you've put in place, right? If you don't have the right systems, then you're always going to revert back. You're always going to quote unquote fail whatever you're attempting. Again, whether you're losing weight, whether you are trying to eat healthier, whether you are trying to become a successful business person, whether you're trying to create more work-life boundaries, you are always going to fall back into old habits if you don't create a new structure and system that makes discipline inevitable. These are things that you work on with a life coach. We don't just focus in on one area of your life, we focus in on the whole life, the holistic part of you, and everything that's happening in your life because people think, oh, I'm not losing weight because I'm not working out enough. Okay, but the reason you're not working out enough is because you don't have the systems in place to get yourself to the workout room. See what I mean? You don't have the system in place to go to bed earlier, to fuel your body right, to give yourself enough energy to get into the workout. Or maybe it looks like you don't have the right system and the right structure in place to know when to stop working and know how to prioritize your own health because you're living by the shoulds of life and you're living with guilt and it feels impossible to make a decision. That's not discipline. That's mindset and it's systems that we have to put in place. Discipline should be the easiest muscle to flex. Go ahead and like pop an emoji in if this is like hitting, if this is making sense to you because it should feel like discipline is one of the easiest things that you can do, like to show up and know exactly what you're doing because you have all of the other things put in place should be easy. Okay. Second thing that I think that you should consider, and I wish I could go back and tell myself, although it has helped me become who I am today, is that you don't need to read another book about it. You don't need to read another book about it. And let me tell you, before I became a life coach, I had spent probably over a decade reading personal development books. For me, it's a joy, right? That's why I became a life coach because I like taking what I've learned in books and helping you implement them. But unless you're working with a coach, unless you have the mindset to implement what you're learning, it's just another book, right? And how many times have we read books where we totally forget what even happened, right? Maybe there's one line that we liked and we're not really sure like what happened. What do we do? What do we do with this information, right? Like what do we do with even what I'm telling you today? What do we do? Where do we even start when we talk about discipline and changing our lives at a core foundational level to make success inevitable? It's really hard to grasp. Even today, you might get really like ramped up and you're going to be motivated after this like short video, and then you're going to walk away and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do it. And then come next Wednesday, next Tuesday, you're going to be exactly where you are today. And I will tell you why. It's not because you're not disciplined enough. It's not because you need to read another book on it. It's because you don't have anybody holding you accountable for what you're trying to do. And when you don't have accountability to follow through, then you can let yourself slide on so many things. And this was something I also have experienced. Maybe this is a fourth one. Oh, no. I actually wrote these down. It is my third one, is that this belief that I can do it on my own. This belief I had, oh, I'll just patchwork this together. I'll take everything I've learned from my personal development books and I'll patchwork it together and I'll put it and implement it into my life. And I am telling you, it's why it took me a decade. Now, if you're interested in that kind of rate of speed, by all means, read the books, implement it. But if you're looking to change your life in 2026, you need someone, whether it's me or someone else, you need someone to be along the journey with you, helping you break through mindset obstacles, holding you accountable, and creating systems that make whatever your goal is inevitable. Inevitable. It doesn't matter what your goal is because the systems have to reflect the goal. Have you ever met somebody who's extremely successful and, let's just say they're celebrating crossing $1 million month, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, if I was there, I remember having this moment when I was in the beginning of like 10 years ago. In the very beginning, they would have this moment of like, okay, they're celebrating having $1 million month. Oh, if I was there, I would be crying. I would be like, just so joyful and like I can't believe this person's so chill about this. Like, dude, you just had $1 million month. Like, what? And then what I've come to realize as I have been on my journey as a coach and starting my own business and all these things, it's like what you reach in your goal as your goal isn't a surprise to you. Maybe somebody looking at you, they think, oh, what a surprise. What a surprise that this person has more boundaries. Like, wow, what a surprise. But behind the scenes, you're working diligently to get to a point where you create safe boundaries so you can be present in your life, so you can work hard and still be fulfilled in your personal life, right? Where maybe somebody's like, wow, you lost weight. Okay, well, I've been working behind the scenes for 6 months. Right? And that's the same thing for that successful business person. Okay. And so that goal was so inevitable for them that every single day they showed up and they followed the plan. They followed through. They followed the actions they set out to do. They were held accountable. You will never meet, I highly doubt you'll ever meet somebody at that success level without a life coach or a business coach or a coach in general, because you can't break through those mindset barriers by yourself. I'm telling you, this is one of my 3 things. You cannot do it on your own. If you want to go far and you want to go fast, you have to go to somebody else. Okay, so that's 3 things that I think aren't talked about enough. Telling yourself that you're not disciplined enough. It's not about discipline, it's about inevitable success and building your life to have success. Second thing, I'll just read in our book. Again, this is one of the things I would go back and tell myself because my timeline took a decade to be where I am. All the work I've done this in a decade, and what I offer is in 12 weeks, right? So I collapsed that timeline by literally a decade because I took so long and I implemented and I tried things out and I failed so many times. That's why I'm able to sit here and say, listen, my 12-week offer is going to change your life. And if you want it, let's go. Let's do this, right? Because who you will be by the end of March in 2026 is not the same woman who's watching this video today. And I know that. I have seen it. I've seen the transformation. And I know that is a core belief that this program is life-changing, right? And I had to take 10 years to build it, really. And then my third thing is I could do it on my own, which is again kind of falls into the same category of what I was just talking about is how much quicker I could have gotten to where I am today if I would have just worked with somebody to have somebody really show me my own blind spots. We don't see our own blind spots. We think we're doing our best. We think we're putting our best foot forward, which is great. Trying your best is important. But if you're trying your best and you're going to the left, but what you really need to do is go to the right, but nobody's telling you because you're in the maze and this other person you're working with would tell you, hey, you need to go right, not left. You'll never be able to see that, right? It's like reading a bottle from the inside, the forest through the trees. These kind of things are so important. That's why whoever you work with, it's very valuable that you pick someone who you resonate with, who will hold you accountable and will take you as a whole person because one thing you do in your life trickles into every area. Okay. I hope that this Friday, it really is gearing you up and you're thinking, okay, how can I make success inevitable for me? And if you're wondering, I have a 20-minute clarity assessment where we go through some questions, we spend 20 minutes together, and I'll tell you, hey, this is your blind spot. This is your blind spot. And here's something you can maybe put into action to help you overcome it. I will link that below, and I hope to talk to you soon. And I hope you have a great weekend ahead.